former electrician, and well, I'll get you to explain what it is that you and your business do, Fred.
I guess it really depends on who I'm talking to, right? Because I got a lot of fingers and a lot of pies, and the bit of history you covered off was that I'm an ex-electrician many years ago, going back a couple of decades, and more recently I'm into marketing. So I classify myself as an online marketing strategist. So I help small businesses in particular look at their online presence, and if they haven't got one, we help them get one. If they have got one, we help them fix it.
Wonderful.
So that's pretty well what we do. And right now we're focusing on tradies.
So tell me a little bit about the tradies. Like, how I mean, you're a tradie yourself.
Yeah.
So how did that come about?
Well, it was actually, I went to a seminar where another marketing chap was talking about, like, how to get people, how to build your list, all that kind of stuff. And as I do, I started a network at the event. So I got talking to a bookkeeper, and this particular person actually trains bookkeepers. So she was a trainer, and she was talking about what she does and how, and she brought up the topic of tradies just don't get it. Right, so over a couple of wines, it was actually after the event. So we got chatting and whatever else, and I figured opportunity arose. So we had a look, and we figured, well, why don't we join forces, do a JV? She looks after the monetary side of it, helps the tradies get their books in order, sort out the financials, and get their invoices paid on time. And I look at the marketing side of it, so we help the tradies find more business, and also get their business and marketing expertise up, because the issue you've got with tradies is that they go to school, they do, in my case it was 5 years, now it's 4, they do 4 years of trade, they learn the skills, end up being very good at the skills, and they go out and try and get paid for what they do, but then they've got no business knowledge. So they actually just buy themselves a job because they've got no idea of how to scale their business, build a business, attract clients. So that's where it stems from.
Well, it sounds like there's certainly a need for it, and there's a lot of tradies out there as well. And so what is it, Fred, that got you into into this field now? I mean, from an electrician to what you do now, there's a bit of a gap there.
Yeah, there's a huge gap, but I've been around for a while, so a quick scenario, or synopsis rather, of what I did. I was an electrician. I opened a retail shop because I had an interest in electronics. Brought in PCs in the 80s from Taiwan when there was nobody bringing them in. Sold those at a very high markup, so we made a fair amount of money, kept a couple of people employed. Then the Taiwanese came in direct and killed the market, so I got out of that, went into consulting in the IT arena, consulted to the major banks, telecoms, Optus, did a lot of stuff in the IT, but my passion has always been about education and marketing in particular. So you look at how people would get their message out there. So that was my passion, but I was getting paid for my tech knowledge. So I had to find a way to move into my passion and develop that expertise and share it. And that's really what I'm about. School of Hard Knocks, no? Learned all the stuff the hard way. So, and if people look at their own business, there's nothing that somebody else hasn't done before, no, and nothing that they shouldn't be doing. So it's a catch-22. They believe that industry is moving, things are changing, but marketing is still the same. You still need, and in our interview earlier, we talked about relationships and engagement and everything else, and that's really the core. So you've got to engage with your client, get them to like, know, love, and trust you, and then the oyster is yours. You can do what you like. So that got me into it, and now I'm delivering my passion and living my dream, I think.
Yeah, well, there you go. Yeah, and what do you think is the, in your opinion, the common mistakes that you see, that the online, that businesses who are like your traditional kind of like tradie businesses, and then they have an online presence, like what is it that they struggle with the most, the mistakes they make?
I suppose that a lot of it is to do with tradies work local, right? And one of the big things they talk about online is getting SEO and all the rest of it sorted. And to do a proper SEO campaign, it's going to take you, from a new business, it's going to take 12 months plus to get seen online. But it's a lot easier to focus on a local community. So other marketers out there will encourage tradies to get, a brochure site up and whatever else. But, and again, we spoke about this earlier. My passion is to get the phone to ring. Right? So it's not about building a profile online. Yes, you need that, and you can develop that over time. But the first thing you need to do is get a website up, whether it's 1 page or 5 pages or whatever it might be, with your phone number prominent, and get listed on Google Maps. Essential for tradies. Because when you look at the first page of Google, if you type in a local area and you're looking for a local service, the maps normally come up. In some cases, that business or those types of business may not be listed, but 90% of the time the maps come up, and if you're not in the maps, that's where people click. You're not going to get phone calls. So first essential tool, get listed on Google Maps. And tradies don't do that. They don't know about it. So that's the message we're trying to get out there.
Yeah, it's like in any industry, isn't it? There's these little shortcuts that make life so much easier. And I know in my video business, there's shortcuts and tips that can get people faster. And like with you in your website business, same thing.
Yeah, and it is, and it's the same with when they get a website up. Like my first conversation with somebody, well, how many visitors did you have to your website? Don't know. No answer. So it's like you can't change or improve something unless you know your baseline. So you've got to go in and test and measure, put the tools in place so that at least you can capture how many visitors you're getting, where they're coming from, what their interests are, and then you can start to develop from that. So, and it's it's like somebody doing concreting. You get an expert to do concreting, you look at how do they do that, how is it so level? Tradies trying to do their own websites. Yes, they can do it. They can go on YouTube, they can learn how to do it, but is it going to be effective? Probably not. No. So they need to get somebody that's got a holistic view of the business, what they're trying to achieve, what kind of customers they're looking for, where the target audience is, and then develop a process and a delivery mechanism to get them there.
Because they're busy enough. The tradies are busy enough doing their tradie work, let alone their social media strategy and their marketing strategy, and there's so many other strategies. Their business plan, and it can be really overwhelming. Yeah,
absolutely, and it's they want their time back.
Yeah,
they don't want to be going home at 4 o'clock or 5 o'clock, whatever time they're knocked off, because they've started early, and jumping behind doing their invoices or whatever. That's where the bookkeepers come in. For X amount of dollars, they'll probably earn that in half an hour's work or whatever it is. So, put in the work, do what you do best, and outsource as much as you can. Yes, a lot of it you can't start with that, but, just get into that. And as the business comes in, then you increase your web presence. You go for a bigger market, you put another van on or whatever, and then you can actually explode. But just start at the basics.
Yeah, start at the basics, isn't it? And build that really strong foundation, from the beginning. So what would be, Fred, what would be your best advice, to someone who's, either a tradie or someone who's, maybe starting their business? What would be the first place to start?
I suppose you'd have a look at one of your competitors. See what they're doing, and we're talking about online. But you could also see what they're doing offline as well. So if they're doing door drops, or if they're doing magazine, or paper advertising, have a look, see what they're doing, and emulate it. And you'll find that most of the good businesses now are moving online, because paper advertising, yellow pages, in my opinion, is probably superseded. I mean, I can't remember the last time I looked at a yellow page. Might have used it to hold the door open at one stage, but that was about it.
They're good for that.
Yeah. So and I think the print runs are dropping anyway. So they're going online. They see the market because they're actually pushing, delivering and producing websites for people as well. So yellow pages are getting into that business, and to be blunt, it's not their expertise. They're moving into it because they see that the print market is closing.
Yeah. They're sort of being forced to move into it and expand their expertise. So Fred, what's the best way for people to contact you if they want to know a bit more?
Well, anybody can contact me. They can Google me, Fred Gillen. They'll find me. I'm on page 1. That's what I do. So
easily found.
Yeah, so just Fred Gillen with Gillen. Tradies in particular can go to our website, tradiesmastermind.com, and they can go there and have a look. We've got lots of free stuff. If the tradie is a DIYer and he wants to do it all himself, not an issue because he's not my client. If they want help, we can give them help. Obviously, there's cost in that, but it's very, very affordable. Because of the way we systemise our processes, we can actually deliver this content and deliver the exposure for the tradie in a set fashion. So we've made it very affordable for any tradie. So tradiesmastermind.com or fredgillen.com, or just give me a call. But you can find my number online.
Yeah, up the top of the page above the phone.
Absolutely. Yeah, there's 2 guys. There's one guy, he's in the US. He's a young user with the same name. But he's got Fred Gillen Jr. And I'm certainly not Junior.
So you're easy to find,
yeah.
That's essentially what all businesses want, isn't it? They want to be easily found.
Yep.
When the potential client is going, oh my gosh, I've got this problem, I need it fixed now. They want to be able to find a solution fast.
And I think that's one of the things that tradies would look at. Like if they've got an emergency service that they can deliver, that's the instant market, right? So as you said, somebody with a leaky tap, and that's if it's a leaky tap, probably not that urgent. But if it's flooding the garden, then it is. So they need somebody now. Use the word emergency in their advertising.
Yeah,
right? Because that's what somebody will type into Google. They'll look for emergency plumber or quick response plumber or something like that.
Yeah.
So have a look at what your people are looking for and push that into your keywords and into your basic SEO.
Very good advice. And I know we've recently had a heat wave here in Australia, and the amount of people who would have had their air conditioners broken down, and there would have been people Googling going, oh my gosh.
Yeah, and those guys would be flat out.
Yeah, they would be. So is there anything else that you'd like to share?
No, I think that probably it's really necessary that tradies and any small business gets online, and because that's where the business is going. And like we're here today doing a video interview, right? And this is where it's going as well. So you need to have video exposure, but that's down the track for somebody starting out online. There's 2 types of websites. One is the brochure website where somebody already knows about you and they're going to check you out. And then there's the other website that's really the call to action website. But you can build both and have a combination of both by simply making sure that your information is prominent on the first page of your website. So make sure your phone number is right above the fold and very obvious so people make the call and get you some business. So that's about what I'd advise somebody to do.
And that's great advice, because I think some businesses overlook the fact of the phone. Yep. It's like be online, I can be a bit distant and, people just come through. But, the old-fashioned pick up the phone and have a conversation with your potential client it's the best way.
Absolutely. Well, I mean, we had this conversation before where we're talking about building a website and giving out a free brochure about, the 7 ways to fix a leaky tap. Well, that's old hat, like it works for some businesses that want to build a long-time relationship, but a tradie wants to get somebody who was looking for a tradie, want them now. So the main thing they want to do is make a phone call and make sure you answer your calls. Don't let go to, if it goes to voicemail, you've probably lost the deal. Yeah. So, get somebody to answer the call, and there are services out there that can do that. Get a human to answer the call. So that's probably a nice little piece of advice for anybody, any tradie listening.
Yeah, well, and business person in general.
Yeah.
So, well, thank you very much, Fred.
Pleasure.
It's been an absolute pleasure having you here today.
Welcome to Melbourne.
Yes, Melbourne's put on nice weather today too, so it's like, yay. Excellent. All right, we'll speak to you next time.
Look forward to it.
See ya.
Cheers.